Alright, out with the old and in with the new. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Galaxy. Today, I am going to open up this little package that I got from Mr. Dave Estill at pinballrom.com. And we're also going to work on some sound. So what's in the little bag? Okay. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get... I ordered 100 LEDs from Dave Estill. I wasn't sure if I was going to get the ones that kind of have the fatties or the thinnies. These guys' heads are a little fat, so they don't always fit into the playfield GI, or mostly just playfield GI, because those holes are drilled kind of small. I don't love the fatties for that reason, because they don't fit everywhere. So next time I do place an order, I will ask for the thin heads, not the fat heads. But I've got 100 of these bad boys. These should be warm, white. I don't see anything on the package that actually says warm, but hey, you know what? We can check that out real quickly here with my little handy dandy tool that my buddy made when he got out of pinball. He sold all his crap and I bought a lot of it, and this was one of the things I got. And there it is. It is warm. Okay, perfect. So those are stocked back up because I literally have 0 of those left. And then this is what I am most excited about. This is your Siegecraft Electronics Ballystern LED adapters. So this is what's going to get rid of the flicker effect on the LEDs. So I just got to stick these on the lamp driver board and then plug the connectors back in. Add that wire there, and then Bob's your uncle. The first step is actually getting them out of the box, which is the most challenging step of them all. And there we go. Oh, geez, let's not break them. So all these boards are just basically adding a little tiny resistor in the circuit. That is blurry. So that's all it does, adds a resistor. You could add this resistor right at the socket. You could literally buy like a 5-cent resistor and solder it to every single lamp socket, and that would do the exact same thing as what these do. So, except this is way easier. And Eric Thorne at District 82, he does that. He will go through every socket and add a resistor for every single socket. But it costs him like 2 cents to do for each socket because he buys them in bulk, these resistors. And for him, so let's say 150, lamp sockets, what's it cost him? Like 10 bucks maybe even, where these cost like 70. So also the way that Eric does it, it kind of like bulletproofs the socket at the same time. So kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I am just going to install these and call it a day. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Second thing is get some sound going, hopefully. So this is the old sound connector. It was a couple wires were pulled out of it, and for the life of me, I cannot, even with this half decent tool. This is a Waldom, and this is in theory supposed to slip over the pin like so. You push it down, and out comes the pin. But I've never had any luck with this tool or these style connectors trying to repin them. Fortunately, I found a new housing to replace this housing, so I don't need to pull out the pins. The next difficult thing, well, secondly, if you do want to get the right tool for the job, I thought this was the right tool for the job, but it turns out it's the Molex version of this because it has a bit of like a retractable like end to it, so you push it in and then it catches, and then you push a little more, and that seems to apparently is the proper tool for the job, which I do not have. So I'm struggled quite a bit with this, had no luck. Next struggle was that the pins that you got to use for the connector are 0.093, but see the size of that end there? It's just way too big for this baby little wire to fit in it. I just didn't think I was going to get a good crimp. See that? Why are you so not focused today? So what I learned is that this is kind of, I think this is designed this way. It's got 3 fins. Maybe not. What I'm going to do actually is take off this very back fin. Then I'm going to use the second fin to grasp onto the insulation. And then this kind of third set of fins, I'm going to kind of pinch into place, pinch up a little bit so they're a little more closed. And that's the part I'm going to have grip the actual stripped wire. So fun with terminals and connectors. That is going to be the plan, but I think that's going to actually be the solution. Like I said in a previous video, I just used a different connector altogether, and I don't remember having the same struggles that I'm having with this connector, but no flicker, and hopefully sound will happen soon. So I'm going to start by installing these guys because it's the easiest part. All right, there we go. I got the 3 adapters installed, and easy enough to do. Just remove the connector, install the adapter, then reinstall the connector. Then take this purple wire here, connect it from J1 to J3 over to J2, and then this clips on the back box. I think it is this wire here, but I always just kind of go with the flow on that. Let's turn on the machine and see if the flicker is resolved for the play field. No, okay, so that wire, I don't know if you can see the flickerage. Actually, let's throw it in lamp test. That might be better to see. Here we go. Okay, I'll try and hold the camera steady so you can see. It definitely looks a lot different through the camera lens than in actuality. It's just kind of really, I don't know, stuttery and weird. But now let's take our connector, and hopefully this is the right spot, and check out the LEDs. That is not the right spot. Let's go to a different spot, and boom, look at that. Hopefully you can see and appreciate the difference, because it's very epileptic and annoying. If you do not do this, it is a must. You need to have the anti-flicker set for this guy, for any Bally or Stern. But there, that was nice and easy. Okay, that looks awesome. Love it. I did place my Marco order, so I do have a new drop target set coming, so I'll rebuild those when I get that. I've got my 3-lane guides coming. A couple flipper rebuild kits, because it's a little cheaper that way if you order 2. And there's more on there. A couple flipper bats. We're going to get rid of these Gottlieb bats. These look to be in half decent shape, actually, so I'll save those for a rainy day. But next, we're going to try and get some sound. First things first, we are going to connect up the soundboard here, like so. And then we're going to connect up this guy here. Now I'm going to take extra precaution to make sure I connect this properly, because when I was doing the Magic restoration, I put it on incorrectly and it caused me all kinds of grief. It just took me forever to realize that I literally just had the ribbon cables on wrong. So I'm going to make sure I get them on right, and then we'll deal with the connector. Okay, so the trick is to line up pin 1 to pin 1. And you have to basically use a magnifying glass to see that pin 1 on the soundboard is there, and pin 1 on the Alltech CPU is right there. It is very hard to see. It's like right above R27. You see the number 1 there? Right beside J5 lettering. So we're going to line up this guy. Now we can't see anything. To make sure that that goes like, see, is that right? No, that's not right. Yep, that's right. That should do that. And then when you connect this guy, you really got to make sure you don't miss a pin. That's the common error right there. Looks like we are good to go. I don't know why someone markered all the bottom of that connector, but let's just double check our work. Pin 1 is here, comes all the way over here to pin 1 there. Okay, that should be correct. So connector time. Okay, so for the male connector, all I have to do is reconnect this wire. This was hacked in directly into the old power supply, and then some sort of splitter was added, and it was just part of the whole hack job that was Galaxy before I got my hands on it. So all I need to do for this side is solder that, get a little shrink tube. That's the easy part. The other connector I've already cut off, and I had Corey here, Corey Cook of London Pinball, so I was wondering if he happened to have these terminals with a smaller gauge for the wire. But then that's when we kind of discovered if we kind of cut off the back end of those terminals, we can make it work. So what I think I'll do is just put 3 more connectors on here, and then I'm going to connect them directly like so until I know for sure that I've got my wires not crossed. And then when I know that they're in the correct position, then I'll pop them into a connector and should be having sound after that, hopefully. Okay, so I got this wire soldered up and shrink tubed. And now I'm just going to get rid of this zip tie and then add a couple of my own, tidy up this harness a little bit. All right, this side is done. Now on to the fun side. Okay, so here's a visual of what I was talking about, because I don't feel like I describe things very well sometimes. But this is how you normally would crimp a terminal on. Insulation goes in that first section, and the bare wire goes in the second section. But this wing at the back is just way too big to crimp onto that wire comfortably. So I'm going to break off the back wing and then move the wire forward like so, and then it should be a more comfy fit. So let me break off the back wing and see how that looks. Alright, that big fat back wing is broken off. So now I put the insulation in that middle wing, wire at the end wing, and hopefully that works. I don't think this is like the way it's designed actually. It's not like a multi-gauge terminal, but I was hoping it was like a one gauge fits all, but I don't think it's the case. They're kind of just cheating this terminal here, but I think it's going to work. So that's how I'm going to run with it. And in the meanwhile, I should order some of the proper gauge, which are not actually easy to find per se, but I just got to dig a little deeper. So let's closer examine this terminal here. This is the one that Corey did when he was here. Insulation looks to be okay. Wire strands seem to be okay. It's on there nice and snug. Here's the one I just tried. Let's see how this looks. Insulation looks pretty good. Wire strands are not like crimped in there quite as much as I'd like them to be. If needed, I could add a drop of solder. Don't really love that idea, but if I have to, I will. So I'm going to do the other two, and then we'll give it a sound test and see if this actually works. Okay, I've got all 4 wires with terminals on them, and I'm actually pretty happy with how they turned out. The secret I found was to start off with the big teeth. Let's go talk in technical terms here. 18 to 22 gauge. You start in that jaw there, clamp it down, it's semi-snug, and then you really wrench it down with the 24 to 30 gauge. Does that say 24? Does that say 30? Yeah, okay. So you start in the back teeth and you finish on the front teeth, and then the connection is actually pretty darn good. So I went over the first one that I did without doing that. Now they've all gotten that treatment, and I have actually high hopes for that. So I'm going to connect these up, and we're going to see if we got sound. Okay, this is my magic speaker connector. This is what I did the last time around. I don't remember what terminals I used, to be honest, and if I had this same connector, I might have just went that route. Cut off all the wires and start from scratch. Anyway, so it looks like we got green-white goes to solid, green-yellow goes to striped. Can you see that? So green, white, solid. And then for, it doesn't really matter. The 2 yellow wires are the speaker wires, okay? I think it doesn't matter which wire goes to which lug with a single speaker system. So I don't think that matters all that much. The other 2 wires are for the sound pot, and I don't think that matters all that much because it just means which way you turn the volume will go up and which will go down, right? But it would be nice to turn right and it goes up. So the most important thing I got to remember here is solid purple wire goes to, looks like white brown, and purple yellow goes to striped. Okay, so good luck remembering all that. All right, so solid purple goes to white brown. Green wires are the speaker itself. Should be fine either way. And then we got stripe to stripe wire here. Again, I'm not throwing these in the connector until I know that the sound works and the volume pot works, because if I stick them in the connector and they're wrong, I can't remove them. I guess I could, no, I can't. I just can't. I have not been able to figure that out yet, not with the tool that I'm using. So I need to make sure this is right before I stick them in. All right, Galaxy, first sound test, take 1. Here we go. I hear speaker hum. So far, so good. Come on, power up tune. Okay, no power up tune. That doesn't necessarily mean we don't have sound. Here's the big test right here. Do we have credits, first of all? Yeah, we got 4 credits. All right, Galaxy, please come to life. No audio life yet, but there's a chance the volume is turned all the way down. Let's turn it one way or the other. No. Okay. Let's hit a switch. Oh, I hear sound. It's just so faint. Okay, let's crank it all the way to the right. Ooh, it's still very, very faint. What is that all about? Let's turn it all the way to the other side. Still very faint. Okay, so we do have sound. That's a start. I just got to figure out why it's so quiet. Okay, just so you can actually hear what I'm hearing, because you probably couldn't in the last clip. Listen. No matter what I do with the volume pod though, that doesn't change the volume. So there is sound, that's the good news. I hopefully can sort this out. Probably got my wires crossed. Hopefully it's that simple. Okay, unfortunately, swapping the wires in multiple combinations does not yield any better results. I got sound, but it's still vague. So I think I might try changing the ribbon cables on the soundboard next. If that doesn't work, then maybe I'll change the speaker. If that doesn't work, then maybe I'll change the soundboard, because I think I might have another one of those kicking around. And in the meanwhile, I might even research on the old Googles what the issue is. Alright, new ribbon cables did not yield any results either. And they're actually a little shorter than the ones that I pulled out of there, so it leaves the end two pins exposed on both boards. So I didn't have much hope for that, but I thought I would try it anyway, but nothing has changed. Alright, I found me a couple spare Stern SB300 soundboards. I think I'm probably barking up the wrong tree with changing the whole soundboard, but it's worth a shot. After this it'll be speakers or speaker. But looking at these two boards, I noticed that these guys look like they have been changed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 capacitors, because they are radial version instead of axial, which is more the original style. These guys, all these four, look pretty much identical. Actually, that maybe looks a little different. So maybe possibly that has been changed. So someone's worked on this board. Maybe just bulletproofing it. I don't see anything on here, either of these guys, that looks like anything, any obvious issues, other than pins are a little funky. I can straighten those out. And this chip socketed, this chip socketed. So it's pretty easy to just pop these in and out. So that will be the next thing I try. They look a little dusty. This one might have been in a flood. I got some boards that were in a flood. A lot of them work perfectly fine, some don't. That one looks like a flooder. This one may be too, because I don't know if this is dust or mud. Anyway, guess I'll try these guys and see if anything changes. I just noticed one more thing. This, whatever component that is, I don't know if that's an amplifier with the 5 legs, that has been changed as well on the board with the changed cap. So somebody was trying to fix something, so I have less trust in this board. I have more trust in this one, so see what happens. Alright, I put in the one that I have more faith in, that is connected, just kind of free floating. You can hear it dinging. The 7 bongs. It's a different kind of buzz coming out of the speaker, but let's hit the start button. Same kind of thing. No change. Okay. Try the other board just for good measure. Alright, other board is installed. Let's power this guy on. See if we get anything different. I highly doubt it. I don't even hear the startup bongs. Let's hit the start button. We are live. But yeah, that soundboard is pretty much completely toast. So I have to now go to the Googles. Oh, and I need a tilt bob still. Okay, just took a little break for dinner. Now I'm back in the basement. I've had no luck with the sound thus far. I did make a post in the Facebook Pinball Repair Help group and see what kind of suggestions I may get from that. So in the meanwhile, I think what I'm going to do is work on the pop bumpers. There's not too much left I can work on, but those I certainly can, and they're not my favorite thing to do, so it's time to bite the bullet, rip off the band-aid, and start dealing with the pop bumpers. Okay, this pop bumper is removed. These two washers were in here. I'm not exactly sure what they are for, so I'm gonna have to disassemble another pop bumper to see if it has these washers. And here is the culprit here. This I have also never seen. What is going on here? It's like little feet that the screws go into. So what is going on? Is that broken or what? But you can see the base here is darn near broken in half. The skirt itself's in good shape. The body's pooched. And I'm probably going to reuse the socket. And the ring and rod appears to be intact. So just got to figure out why they got little booties on these screws. I've never seen that before. Done a fair amount of pop bumpers. I've done sterns before too, but I'm not seeing these guys, so I'll have to figure that out, and these guys out. Alright, I'm going to work on this guy. He's got a broken leg. I had to, like, use my solder pump to get rid of the solder so that I could actually remove these wires, socket legs from the base. I've cleaned this guy up. This guy's next. You get a spring, you're going to get a new base, and then all this crap. Alright, out with the old and in with the new. Yeah, that's much better. Cleaned its butt. It's nice and shiny now. Alright, see if I can figure out how to install these little things. Okay, so as suspected, this is the upper pop bumper. I'm gonna lift up its skirt there and look under its skirt. You can see that little footy thing there. It's just basically a spacer between the body and the floor, so you can't tighten it too much, I guess. So that's easy enough. Oh, and I just noticed also, if you look closely, you can see underneath the spacer. Can you see it? There's the washer right there. So that's where the washer goes. Spacer goes there. How high of hopes do you have, or expectations, that this body that's been changed, do we think the parts are still all there? Oh, shit. I have a feeling we might be missing a couple parts. We'll find out soon enough. Looks like they might have made their own spacer. Okay, it's a little bit of a pain to try and line up the screw with the spacer with the washer, but I managed to get it on there, and it's good and looks good. And yeah, maybe I won't mess with this guy. I don't know, we'll see. But now for the switch, which the spoon has a hole in it, which is not all that surprising. Alright, here's the switch, and you can see the point of the skirt poking right through this spoon. That is not gonna work very well, so I think I have a spoon in stock or two. I hope I do, and I hope it works. And also this coil, it's functional, but the bobbin is broken. I may change that. I don't really need to per se, but I think I might have one in stock. So I may as well if I do. Okay, that's next. Okay, I removed the switch to make life a little bit easier. And I thought for sure I had some new spoons in stock, but all I could find was a bunch of used ones. So I turned one that looked like this into one that looked a little more like this. So I'm going to use a used one. And it matches up perfectly. Oops. Style-wise, it looks like the exact same spoon, so compatibility is not an issue. Because, you know, this style is a little bit different. It's got like a ring around the end and then extra feet on the bottom. But the rest, I think, are the other style. I even had a whole new switch here, but that's different than all the other ones entirely. Isn't it? Yeah, it looks different, like that big kind of indent in the middle. None of these other guys have that. So, I think I got a correct used spoon at least. And the color matches too. Faded yellow. Okay, the switch is done. I polished the contacts with my Dremel wire brush. They were black, now they're nice and shiny. This spoon did fit except for one caveat. This is the size of the holes that were on it. This is the size of the holes that need to be on it. So I actually had to drill the holes of the spoon to fit on the little spacer. But all in all, I think I've got it adjusted pretty happily and assembled. And I'm actually going to wrap up this video, and maybe I'll stick on the switch and then call it a night. But that's about all the time I have for tonight, so I'll keep pop bumping away on the next episode.